Okay, think about the power grid for a second. It's this massive, incredibly complex web that, keeps our lights on and our entire world running. But what if the biggest threat to this giant fortress of infrastructure wasn't some kind of physical attack, but something that could land right in your inbox this afternoon? See, our power systems are way smarter and more connected than they've ever been before, which is great for efficiency. But the flip side is, all that connectivity makes them a prime target for cyber attacks. It opens up all these new digital doorways for people with bad intentions. And honestly, the stakes could not be higher. And I want to be clear, this is not some hypothetical what-if scenario. These attacks are very real and they're happening. We've seen everything from the Stuxnet worm that went after Iran's nuclear program way back in 2010 to an attack in 2015 that caused a blackout for almost 250,000 people in Ukraine. The threat is real and it has a long, documented history.
When a breach actually succeeds, it's not just about the lights flickering for a minute. No, it can set off this chain reaction, cascading failures that lead to massive blackouts. And that cripples hospitals, transportation, communications, everything. The economic damage can be huge, and that's not even mentioning the theft of all kinds of sensitive data. It's a really terrifying domino effect.
So you have to wonder, right? How does an attacker even get into a system that's so critical, so complex? You're probably picturing some super sophisticated team of hackers, digitally blasting through layers and layers of defense. And yeah, that can happen. But the starting point? It's often shockingly simple. The attack almost never starts with a battering ram at the front gate. Instead, it usually starts with a single unlocked side door, a digital Trojan horse, that an employee, someone just like you or me, unknowingly invites right inside. And here it is. This is the key. Researchers who study these systems all point to this one incredibly popular method, a simple phishing email that's used to plant a backdoor. It completely bypasses all the fancy physical and digital security with nothing more than one unintentional click. So, what is phishing exactly? Well, it's basically pure deception. Attackers will disguise themselves as a company you trust. It could be your bank, your IT department, even a big online store. Their whole goal is to fool you, to trick you into clicking a bad link, downloading a shady file, or just giving up your password. And if you're thinking, this must be a pretty rare thing, well, you'd be wrong. Get this, a staggering 91% of all cyber attacks begin with a phishing email. Let that sink in for a second. This one single technique is the #1 gateway for attackers. It is by far the most common and effective trick they have. But here's the good news. Since we know their favorite trick, we can learn how to spot it. Once you understand the anatomy of a phishing email, you become the first and most important line of defense. So let's break down the red flags. First thing you should always do is look very closely at the sender's address. Attackers are counting on you just glancing at the name, but look closer. Is that the number 1 instead of the letter L in PayPal? Is the domain something weird like .info instead of .com? These tiny little details are a massive giveaway. Next, watch out for emotion. Attackers love to use urgent or threatening language to create a sense of panic. Your account will be closed, suspicious activity detected. They want you to react immediately without thinking. That sense of urgency is specifically designed to bypass your rational brain and get you to just click. And keep an eye out for other simple mistakes. I mean, big companies have editors, right? Phishing emails are often full of really obvious spelling or grammar errors. They'll also use generic greetings like "Dear Customer" because, well, they don't actually know your name. And most importantly, a real company will never ever email you out of the blue asking for your password or credit card number. Okay, now here is probably the single most powerful action you can take. Before you ever click a link in an email, just hover your mouse over it. A little box will pop up and show you the link's true destination. If that web address looks suspicious, or if it doesn't match what the link claims to be, you've just spotted a phish. So you've spotted a sketchy email. Now what do? Well, let's put together your personal defense toolkit. These are simple, totally doable steps that offer some really powerful protection for you and for your organization. So, step 1, scrutinize that sender address always. Step 2, if the email says it's from your bank, don't reply and don't click anything. Instead, open a new browser window, go to their official website, and contact them that way. Step 3, report the email. Your IT department needs to know about these threats. And finally, the golden rule, when in doubt, just delete it. It is always the safest move. Now, beyond just handling individual emails, you can build some much stronger walls around yourself. First, enable multi-factor authentication everywhere you can. It's an extra layer of security that can stop an attacker even if they somehow get your password. Second, just get into the habit of not clicking links or downloading files from people you don't know. And finally, keep your software updated. Those updates often contain really important security patches that close the exact loopholes attackers are trying to use. Ultimately, it all comes back to this. The most advanced, expensive cybersecurity systems in the world can be totally bypassed by one careless click. But you know what that also means? It means the strongest defense is a human one. It's a vigilant eye and just a healthy dose of skepticism. So the real question is, after seeing how all this connects, what are you going to look for in your inbox tomorrow?